Hello, everyone. Not the Smith you were expecting, I imagine, this evening, but I'm back and we'll have a little talk and we're going to do some fantasy booking. It's the first fantasy booking video ever. I thought we'd call it Gimme Booking because, what else? And it's not that deep. So let's have a little intro, and I know exactly who we're going to have it from. A guy who's been very heroic this week. Lead us in, Nick.
This is the hardcore legend, Mick Foley. Well, hello and welcome to Gimme A Hull Yeah. I hope everyone there, right there in Yorkshire, is having a nice day. Bang, bang. Have a nice day. Yeah.
Oh, cheers, Mick. Well, I'm a little bit out of practice, ladies and gentlemen, and this will be a little bit different. It's what you might have normally seen me do on the channel. The purpose of this isn't really. I was in two minds as to if I was even going to stream this. I was going to maybe just do it as a video and just upload it and leave it be. But I thought if some of the usual guys want to pop in and ask a question or say something, it might be a bit of fun because again, other people are going to have their own ideas as to all of this sort of stuff. So yeah, I thought I'd do it as a stream, and I thought I'd do it as a bit of a surprise stream. So I'm not expecting massive numbers tonight because I think I sprung it on everyone 15 minutes ago. I don't even think any of the hosts fully know until they saw it popped up. But yeah, tonight we'll be doing Gimme Booking. So it's a fantasy booking, a series of these. We've got a whole bunch of them ready to go. We asked people what they want to see us do. The Bloodline was the top one. There's a bunch of others. We've got a John Cena's retirement inbound, an Uncle Howdy one. We've also got some Hull Yeah hindsight content planned as well. So kind of what WWE did and what would have been a little bit better. So we might do that as well. But yeah, for this one, we'll be talking about Roman Reigns, the Bloodline story, the Civil War, Roman Reigns' faction versus Solo Sikoa's faction from now all the way until WrestleMania. And you don't need to agree with it. This is just what I want to do, what I want to see, what I book. It might be completely wrong. I've been right in the past and I've been wrong in the past. So it's okay either way. I don't mind. So remember, just because I'm saying this doesn't mean it's gospel. Doesn't mean I need to be strung up. It's just one person's fantasy booking, and it's okay if yours is a little bit different. And I may completely forget something important as well. Feel free to point out what that is. But remember, if I drop a massive clanger, I'm not going to go and publicly commit seppuku over it. So expect that. And I'm going to try and avoid using the word joke. If you know, you know. But anyway, obviously I used to do a lot of SmackDown on the site. I don't do SmackDown anymore for the most part. Again, I'm still a host, and I've been trying to think what more can I do to get involved, and use this position. Well, the issue is I've been just insanely busy in the past 6 months with other projects, and it doesn't leave a huge amount of time for podcasting, if I'm being perfectly honest, or making videos on YouTube. Those who know me well know I'm busy over at Deserto, writing lots of articles about games, particularly Diablo, and this week Call of Duty as well. So go and check that out. A shout out to Deserto. Obviously, I'm the editor of WrestleSphere, along with Dom, and we've also launched SoundSphere, myself, Dom, and Andy Spores, and that's taking up an awful lot of our time as well. So, I kind of pulled away from SmackDown because I was so busy with other projects. And also some health reasons as well. The lack of sleep. I struggle. I'm pushing 40. I struggle staying awake like I used to. I don't quite know how Dan Hargreaves does it. I have a theory that he's not human, or he's just walking caffeine. I don't know. Same with Anthony, to be fair, as well. But me and Dom find staying up and do it really, really late, really, really, really difficult. So that's why he kind of stepped away from SmackDown, and then I stepped away from SmackDown as well. And as well, full transparency, SmackDown happens on a Friday night. So on a Friday night, my wife likes to go up to the Lake District, and we like going up there together. If you're familiar with the UK, you might know why and what the draw is, but that makes having a podcast commitment on a Friday night pretty difficult when you want to do that. So, and that was always going to win. So Here we go. So I meant to do this several weeks ago. And so some of the things that I wanted to talk about have already happened in WWE, but I think we're at a good place to begin now. I think if we had got to Survivor Series, War Games, and we hadn't done this, there probably wouldn't have been a huge amount of point, but we're a way off from that yet. So there's everything to play for. There's quite a bit to talk about as well. But we're going to go from right now. We're going to go from Crown Jewel because that's the next pay-per-view, and that's when something significant is happening as well for the Bloodline. So at Crown Jewel, more than likely, well, as we know, it's been verified. We've got Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the New Bloodline. So the New Bloodline, Tama Tonga, Loa, and Jacob Fatu. So we've got a new Civil War, a 3-on-3, tag match between those guys, and it's gotta be carnage. So we'll go through each pay-per-view and a little bit of storyline stuff as to what we think is going to happen after that, during that, and where it'll lead to. And because I think this Roman Reigns bloodline versus Solo Sikoa's bloodline is going to a very specific place at WrestleMania, and every single person is going to end up in a different place by the end of that. So we won't keep these videos going too long. If any of our regulars or anyone else joins us and wants to say hello, feel free. I won't be doing it like we do normal streams where we kind of address questions as and when they happen. Any questions that appear or any comments that appear, I'll address at the end, unless it's something else, unless it's something really specific. So that's what we'll do. So we'll start with Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel, the Usos versus the New Bloodline. So in this match, I think it's going to be, they've got to push Solo Sikoa and the Tongans at this point, don't they? They've got to make those guys look dangerous. So it might be Jacob Fatu in that match with Solo Sikoa and one of the Tongans. We don't know what combination of them it's going to be at this point. Again, forgive me if I've got that wrong, if it's been updated in the time that I last looked, which wasn't too long ago. But so now in this match, I think the New Bloodline have to win. They have to kick the ever-loving crap out of Roman Reigns and the Usos and get the heat on them a lot more than they already have. We need to see the New Bloodline cheat to win, and I think the way they do that is by introducing another member, Tama Tonga, or the artist formerly known as Hikuleo in New Japan. So I think Tama Tonga or Hikuleo, we'll call him Tala going forward. Tala is at the Performance Center as we speak. He's signed with WWE. He works for WWE right now. And it probably would make sense for him to have an NXT run like Solo Sikoa did. But I think needs must in this situation, and needs must for the Bloodline. They're doing a storyline where it's various members of the Anoa'i family and their extended family fighting each other. You're going to have Tala involved. So I think Tama Tonga comes out and does something to cost the original Bloodline, to cost Roman, to cost the Usos. And then the numbers game kicks off. So we've got, obviously, the Tongans, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu now, all in a stable, all causing carnage. The Usos and Roman are outnumbered, completely outmatched, and they start getting their ass kicked. There's no Kevin Owens to come out and help. Cody Rhodes might be busy doing something else. Again, he's preparing for his own match. Maybe something's happened backstage to make sure Randy and Cody can't interfere, can't get involved. Just when all hope is lost, Sami Zayn's music hits. Sami Zayn runs to the ring and manages to get the drop on the New Bloodline. Manages to, do a lot of damage to them, get rid of Tala, and just help them out. We have a moment where the Usos joint super kick somebody, something we've not seen in so long, and they look at each other as if to say, this is what we're meant to do, isn't it? We're meant to be together. We're meant to fight together. And we have a moment after the heels have been chased off where we have Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns in the ring together. Chants of holy or maybe those chants turn into chants of hug it out. And they do. Just like the Usos did. Sami hugs Roman. And not all is forgiven, but they're on the same page. But more importantly, minus Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline, the original Bloodline, and minus Paul Heyman, but more on that soon. The Bloodline is essentially reunited, and we have a team of 4. Now, fast forward. We now have moments where the reunited Bloodline score some victories over the new Bloodline, but the new Bloodline have got the heat on their side. They had the victory. They've done the beatdown. Maybe one of the Usos got hospitalized or taken to a medical facility. Who knows? But we have a situation where there are beatdown after beatdown on the baby faces, and it gets to a point where things get so vicious. We all know where this is going. Survivor Series, War Games. And now 2 things can happen in this match. We either have, because 2 things have been reported from what I can see. So one of them is a 4-way match, 4 on each team. On one side, we have Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Sami Zayn. And on the other side, we have the Tongans, Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu. But, excuse me, I'm choking on my hot chocolate. That had a load of whiskey and coffee in it. There's something else they can do. If they add Talatonga to the match, presuming he's here at this point, Talatonga becomes their 5th man, and the baby faces are needing a 5th man. And I think it could make sense to be Cody Rhodes. It all depends if he's got his own match at Survivor Series and if they want to keep him out of War Games. So there's every possibility it could be 4-on-4, or they could do 5-on-5 with those 2 teams. Now, there are rumblings that The Rock could be the 5th man and not Talatonga, but for me, that just doesn't work because I think they're saving The Rock for something bigger, and I think it makes way more sense to have The Rock do things in the background, be an instigator, and just tease his appearance rather than give it all away in one big War Games match. And here's the thing as well. I don't think you're getting The Rock in a War Games match in 2024. I just don't think he'd want to do that. He'd be equipped to do that. I just don't think it makes sense. I feel like The Rock ceases to be an attraction if you use him as well in that capacity before WrestleMania. I think the next Rock match we get is at Mania. I think that's not only the next Rock match we get, I think that's the last ever match we get. I think The Rock has only one more wrestling match in him, and that's WrestleMania in Las Vegas. So let's go with the 5-on-5, that team. So Roman's team with Cody versus Solo Sikoa's team. Now, because the babyface is lost at Crown Jewel, we have a lot of different cool spots in this match, a lot of callbacks, moments to where Sami Zayn was like loyal to the to Roman Reigns. We have a moment as well where they're all waiting to come out. We have a moment where Roman Reigns is about to leave the cage to get into the match, and Sami Zayn blocks his path with his arm. Doesn't even look him in the eye, just blocks his path and goes, mm-mm. And Sami goes. Now, that's really important because that means Sami isn't listening directly to Roman Reigns and taking orders from him. He's grown. He's his own man. He's been a champ. He doesn't need Roman to tell him what to do. And it's just as personal for him at this point. He's going next. And there is no dispute. There is no conversation. And Roman steps away and lets Sami do that. So at the end of this match, I'm giving it to the baby faces. I think the bloodline, the old bloodline, they win here. They kill the heat of the new bloodline and they essentially defeat that heel stable. Now, I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. For starters, you can't just have the heels win all the time and never let the heroes win. It's also a good redemption story for Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Sami Zayn for when they were all heels and ran roughshod over the entire company. And also, you need to progress the story to something else at that point. You can't just keep those those 2 teams fighting continuously. And after you've done a War Games match, you can't get much bigger than that. That's the ultimate blow-off for 2 stables, for faction versus faction. That's it. It doesn't get bigger than that. Where do you go after War Games for faction-on-faction warfare? That's the blow-off. You can continue the story, but it needs to be a a more personal and nuanced affair after that. The big schmozzes are done. That's the smosh. You got it there. So the babyfaces win this. Solo Sikoa is left broken and defeated in the corner, devastated, and he doesn't know what to do with himself next. And he slinks off. He ignores his own people, shoves past them, and disappears to lick his wounds. Now, there you go. And there's a lot of things that also could happen in this match. But I think after this match, Cody Rhodes, who was in one of the teams, we'll go with the 5-on-5. Cody gets the microphone and says something a lot of fans are thinking. He says, look, me and Roman, we went to war twice at WrestleMania. Roman won the first one. I won the next one. I'm the champ. They call me the undisputed champion, but I don't feel undisputed. And I'll tell you why. In our matches, both of our matches, there was nothing but interference. And there's a part of me, Roman, and maybe there's a part of you, that feels like I might have only won that match because you couldn't resist having one final crack at Seth Rollins when he antagonized you at WrestleMania with the Shield music. Seth Rollins deliberately did that to throw you off your game, and it works. Now, I wasn't part of that, and Seth and I are cool now, and I thank him for it, but it's put a question mark over my title reign. So here's what I'm going to propose, because not only is it the right thing to do, you deserve it, Roman. You were one of the greatest champions of all time, even though you were a total douchebag while you held it, but we need a rubber match. There needs to be a Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes 3, a definitive match without any interference, without any BS. You versus me. Who is the better man? And Roman Reigns accepts and says, that's exactly where all of this was always going. It's what I've always wanted. I'm going to get back to the top. I'm going to do it the right way. And when I'm there, I'm going to continue to do it the right way. I am the tribal chief. I will be the head of the table again. And Cody, I meant it when I said you're in my way. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to do it at Saturday night main event. So you could do that. You could. Or you couldn't. And you could wait. See, I think and I hope that Cody Roman match is going to happen. But we have a little bit of leeway now. You could do it at Saturday night main event. Or you could keep teasing this story and do it the same match at the Royal Rumble. So another thing could happen. We could have a situation where Solo Sikoa wrestles Roman Reigns, not for any championship, but this is a singles match between the two of them at Saturday night main event. And this is for the title of tribal chief. This is just to see who is the better man. And even if it's not for the Ula Fala or the official tribal chief, this is a blood feud, a grudge match between Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. Now, that could either happen at the Royal Rumble or that could happen at Saturday night main event, but you got to believe that is coming. And that is coming after Survivor Series War Games. Because let's be honest, that's before main event and before the Rumble. So if they're going to do that, unless they do it as a throwaway match on an episode of Raw or SmackDown, that's when it's going to be. So let's go with Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns for now. Blood feud, bloodline feud, Reigns versus Sikoa. Now, in this match, it's a ruthless affair. They kick the absolute crap out of each other. Obviously, the heels interfere. The Tongans come running out. Who else? Tala Tonga, Jacob Fatu all get involved. But every time they do, every time we see one of the new bloodline interfere, one of the old bloodline is there to serve as a counter. The Usos come out and chase off the Tongans. Sami Zayn chases off Tala Tonga. Maybe Roman deals with Jacob Fatu on his own. Maybe he's outmatched by the time Jacob Fatu interferes. But something happens. Something gets Jacob Fatu's attention and maybe Solo Sikoa's attention. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman comes back and does something to distract the heels. Solo Sikoa is vulnerable. Roman gets the win. He's been leading the match anyway, so it's a fair and square win. It's not like Roman has used this to get an unfair advantage. Roman has done this to take the advantage back after they've been cheating. Roman defeats Solo Sikoa full on. That's it. goodbye. Solo is utterly crushed. 2 losses now. Now, you could argue he's been a bit buried here, but there's a plan for Solo, because Solo is going to be a future star. That's, that's set. That's going to happen. So everybody goes home happy, tea and cake. I think you can also have the Usos fighting the Tongans on this card as well, 2-on-2. Maybe have Sami Zayn wrestle Jacob for 2. Maybe have Sami Zayn wrestle Tala Tonga. Who knows? Maybe have Cody Rhodes wrestle one of them. Or at some point, we've got to start pulling Cody away into another story to do his own WrestleMania run. But that can happen in 2025. Right now, we can keep older Roman where we are. Now, and you've got to think Roman versus Randy is going to happen at some point, but I think there's a much bigger story for Cody Rhodes, a much bigger one. But anyway, so we have a moment where Solo Sikoa is distraught, alone in the ring. Roman walks out victorious, and he's even maybe got the Ulafala in his hand, and he's like, bye-bye. All of a sudden, the Tongans super kick Solo. Jacob for 2 says, I love you, Solo. Just like he's been saying for months and months. Smashes Solo Sikoa with his own moves. Tala Tonga gets a few licks in. Solo is left bloodied and bruised in the middle of the ring by his own bloodline. And that's that. We don't see Solo for a while. The bloodline is seemingly leaderless, and we don't know what's going on. But they follow strength, and we can't help thinking they were working under somebody else's orders when this happened. Solo Sikoa has failed in a job. He was a hired gun. He was never the tribal chief. This was never about him. He was working under someone else's direction, and he's failed, and that's it. Law of the jungle, you're out, and that's it. Now we move towards the Royal Rumble. So, we could have done this match at the Rumble, and we could have done Cody Roman, but I thought let's do Cody Roman at the Rumble, and let's kick off that way. So neither Cody nor Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble because they're not in it. Spoiler alert for a future video, Damian Priest wins the Royal Rumble, but we'll talk about that another day. Cody and Roman have their rubber match at the Royal Rumble. It's a big fight field. It's 2 baby faces. Both are starting to be quite savage towards the other in conversation, but that's expected. That's what happens in boxing. That's what happens with 2 prize fighters. It's okay. And we have the match. Maybe it's in a cage match, so there can't be any interference, because that's the whole point of this match. They need a legitimate rubber match. And a lot of people have said here, Roman Reigns can't take the loss. I disagree. I think anyone can take a loss anytime. I think history in wrestling has taught us that time and time again. Someone like Roman Reigns, a loss means nothing. He's Roman Reigns. Who the hell cares? So they have the match here. Neither of them cheat. Roman is given ample opportunity to cheat several times, but doesn't take it. He doesn't get any cheap tactics on Cody. This is a changed man. This is a guy who needs to win legit. Otherwise, it doesn't count. It's meaningless. We can have some interference in this match, perhaps. Maybe the heels, maybe the new bloodline do come out and interfere. Maybe even Kevin Owens interferes. But every time that happens, they're chased off by a babyface. But the purpose of this match is it's clean. And Roman loses. And he loses clean. And after the match, that is it. Because it's not about burying Roman Reigns. It's about making Cody Rhodes. It's about cementing him as the champion. And I don't think they can actually do that until he's got a win, a legit win, a proper one over Roman Reigns. And it's not a burial of Roman at all. Roman can come back from that, which is exactly what he's going to do at WrestleMania. But anyway, Cody wins. And that is the end. That's the true end of the story. Not what happened at WrestleMania. What happens right now. Roman gets the microphone, then goes, I acknowledge you, Cody Rhodes. And then Paul Heyman passes Roman his Ulafala. And then as a ceremonial gesture, Roman tries to put that on Cody, not because he's the tribal chief or anything like that. He's Cody Rhodes. He couldn't possibly be, and he's not from Samoan descent, so it wouldn't be right. So all of those things taken into consideration. And Roman goes, no. Cody goes, no. I might be the champion, Roman. I'm the undisputed champion. But you are head of the table, and you are tribal chief, and you always have been. And those two things aren't always connected. I can be one, and you can be the other. And they shake hands, and that's that. Roman is the tribal chief. Cody is the champ. These things are undisputed until, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. And here he comes again. We've been waiting for him. We know he's been around. We know he's been pulling the strings. We saw him come out a while ago. We always knew he was going to be back. The Rock comes walking out with his fake title. There he is. And he laughs. He just laughs for a moment. Laughs and laughs and laughs. And goes, Roman, you've never been the tribal chief. I mean, I don't remember fully acknowledging you. Yeah, you made me do it in the ring that time, but I never really meant it. It was always about me being the tribal chief. And Cody Rhodes, I like what you've got there. And I'll be coming for that. But first of all, Roman, you've got to go. People are saying that you're the next me. And I've always had an issue with that. And like he could even go quite dark, and he could go even now where certain members of our family aren't here. I can now finally do to you what I've always wanted to do. Like, I don't think Offer and Seeker would mind. You know, they were pros. They understood how wrestling works, and this is like a family story. So I don't think it would be out of order for The Rock to mention something like that. But again, so if someone finds it in bad taste, they don't have to do it. It's just an idea, of course. But The Rock now targets Roman Reigns. He wants the championship of Cody Rhodes, but this is more of a family thing than about a belt. The Rock knows him being a champion doesn't really make sense in 2024. This is more about the power and the influence that comes with being the tribal chief than it is about being a WWE undisputed champion. And again, not every major feud needs to be for a belt. Great storylines don't necessarily need a belt. And I think this is one of them. So we have a situation here where The Rock says, I've been the one pulling the strings since Mania, since you went away. Solo Sikoa was under my orders. Solo failed and was taken out. And now there's no one left to take you out. You're weak. You've just lost to Roman. I'm going to put you down. You're not the big dog. You're a little bitch. And he leaves. And that's that. So that's the Royal Rumble. So we have now a new year and a program that has started finally between Roman Reigns and The Rock. And all you guys, so if we were the Cody Crybabies, you guys were, I don't know, I nearly said something very rude then. I'm not going to say it. But the Roman Reigns versus The Rock match you wanted at WrestleMania. Guess what, guys? Now you've got it. But we've got to get there first. And there are other Bloodline members to consider too. So at the Royal Rumble, again, you can have Sami Zayn versus the two. You can have more matches between other Bloodline members. But at this point, it's now, some of those feuds are blowing off. It's now mostly between The Rock and Roman Reigns. So we move to Elimination Chamber, which presumably will be the next pay-per-view after the Royal Rumble and in between WrestleMania. I don't know if we're going to have anything in between Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber or Elimination Chamber and Mania. We may do. I need to look at the dates if I'm being perfectly honest. But I think Elimination Chamber is the big one. And apparently they're not doing it in the UK, which sucks. But anyway, you know I would have been there. So Money in the Bank was brilliant. Anyway, so Jacob for two now needs a little bit more exposure. And we now have a match between Roman Reigns and Jacob for two at Elimination Chamber because The Rock wants to soften Roman up. And who better than Jacob for two? Roman Reigns gets the win here because, of course, he does. Fatu's an upcoming star, but he needs to get some momentum on his side heading into Mania, and he had a very high-profile loss at the Royal Rumble. So you have Roman beat the snot out of Jacob Fatu here with The Rock just watching. Maybe The Rock tries getting involved. Maybe he does get involved and beats down Roman. Maybe the Usos and Sami have been taken out backstage. Cody is busy dealing with what he's dealing with. Roman takes a hell of a beating here from The Rock. And The Rock is like, I'm going to humble you at WrestleMania. And things start getting really, really, really dark here. Now, the beauty of some of this is Roman and Cody as well, but particularly Roman, isn't involved in the Elimination Chamber match or the Royal Rumble match, because now that gives other stars the chance to win those matches and go on to WrestleMania and do something. Now, the Royal Rumble, you get a shot at whatever match you want. So, again, I've got another fantasy booking video I'm going to do about Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Hint, hint, that's where I'm going with that. So, we'll do that another day because it does tie into this, but I don't want to give too much away. But basically, Roman Reigns isn't in the Elimination Chamber match and he's not in the Royal Rumble. It frees up for other people to come up and do their own thing and have WrestleMania matches for the Undisputed Championship and the Heavyweight Championship. Maybe you do Elimination Chamber to dictate the number one contender for the United States Championship or the Intercontinental. So there's loads and loads of creative room here, but keeping Roman Reigns out of that helps other people rise, helps other people come up the card. And I think if Roman Reigns is against The Rock at WrestleMania for the title of Tribal Chief, I think if they do this well, if they make a really good story out of this, it doesn't need to be for a belt. Have Rollins versus CM Punk for one belt and have John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the other belt. And now I'm aware I am fantasy booking here, a John Cena on WrestleMania match and a The Rock at WrestleMania match. And one of them is going to be a retirement match, the other isn't, because I don't think you can have both Cena and Roman Reigns, John Cena and The Rock retire at Mania. So, and also John Cena has said he's sticking around until Money in the Bank. So there's still a lot more time in Cena. So, but yeah, I think you see where I'm going with this. So, Roman Reigns beats for 2. And yeah, and I think that's kind of it for that particular feud. For 2 is done for now. We have a situation where Roman Reigns' path towards The Rock is clear at WrestleMania. So, at this point, Cody Rhodes is gone from the story. He's doing his own thing with Cena. And Sami Zayn is now also doing his own thing. And the Usos are doing their own thing as well. So, so yeah, we'll leave it there. And, oh, Eric, that is how you get blocked, mate. Like, see you later. See you later. There we go. Yep. I think if Eric's still watching, mate, get your own podcast. How about that? But anyway, we've been going a while, and the subscriber count ain't going down, mate. Right, okay, where were we? Yeah. So you got Rock, Roman, WrestleMania. I think this is the match where you can have interference. This is the match where you can have big schmoz like it was last year. Keep that away from the Cody match. That should be a one-on-one. But again, it's a Bloodline versus Bloodline feud to a point. You can have a bit of interference and silliness in this match. And it's The Rock. There needs to be some smoke and mirrors. Bless him. The Rock isn't who he used to be in terms of in-ring work. This needs to be a load of fun, a load of entrances, a load of interference, a load of silliness. Paul Heyman's involved. Maybe the Usos, Sami Zayn get involved. Maybe the other Bloodline get involved. All of that. So that's fine. But I think a definitive moment in this match is when The Rock's about to do something nefarious. Maybe he's got the Roman Reigns pinned down. And obviously, this is a Bloodline rules match. So it's no disqualification. But we have a situation where The Rock's about to do something completely evil. And Solo Sikoa pops up. And he's the one who stops him, turning babyface in the process. We then have a moment where the old Bloodline have been defeated. The new Bloodline are all maybe stood there together in the ring with Solo. We have this one moment where everybody's united, one final time. Then Roman says, go. leave. The Rock stands up, starts doing what he does, slapping his gums, saying what he says. Bang, Superman punch. He gets up, dizzy, spear. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye, Rocky. Now, the one thing, I think this is where they're going. I think this has been where they've been going for a few years. Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania has been a thing a lot of people want to see. So, yeah, I do think this is where we're going at WrestleMania. There's been some talk about, been some talk about a three-way match between Cody, The Rock, and Roman. I don't think you can do Cody and Roman again at WrestleMania, even with the inclusion of The Rock. I think that's overbooked. I don't think it works. Like, who wins that as well? Does Cody win? And then what, do you get The Rock and Roman go off and do their own thing? Like, yeah, maybe you could do that. Maybe that could work. But I do think it's a kind of a waste of Cody Rhodes. And I don't think Cody Rhodes needs to be involved in The Rock versus Roman. I don't think it needs to matter. And you also need Roman having something else to do outside of the title picture. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just have Roman gunning for the championship all the time. It's the mistake they made with Brock Lesnar. We got to a point where we couldn't have Brock unless it was this. So it was kind of like, it was refreshing when they had a Brock storyline that wasn't without a belt, wasn't about the belt. So, yeah. Again, because we're going to have CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the heavyweight, aren't we? More than likely. And then we're going to have Cody versus someone else. Maybe Cody. Cody versus Cena, even. You can tell I'm asleep for that belt. So, no, Rock versus Roman doesn't need a belt. They never did. So I'm happy with that there. So, but anyway, The Rock retires after this, potentially. Or he can come back next year and retire as a babyface again. But the question is, how many years of in-ring work has The Rock got left in him, even if it's just 1 or 2 matches a year? Does he want to do that? Does he want to go back to Hollywood? Is he happy doing other things? At what point does The Rock do a retirement angle? And I think if anyone's going to retire The Rock, it should be Roman. I think it makes all the sense in the world. Roman has never been their big babyface star. I know they shoved him down everyone's throats for years and years and years, and the fans rejected it. He was great as the top heel in the company for a couple of years. I do think now we are at a point where Roman can be a top babyface, and he'll probably hold the Undisputed Championship again. I think he will at some point, but not while Cody's holding it. Like, his time will come again. Like, you could always do Rollins versus Roman again. Roman versus Punk if Punk turns heel. There's so many options they can do. But in the run up to Mania, that is where I think we're going. The Rock, Roman Reigns, and that's that. So, yeah. Do let me know what you think is going to happen. Again, if there's anything else you want us to book, we've got a few things coming up. I want to do that Cody Rhodes Cena thing. I do want to do some Uncle Howdy booking. I want to do CM Punk and Rollins. There's a few others I want to do. I want to do some AEW stuff as well. There's a lot of stuff going on in AEW. I kind of want to go into a certain direction. Maybe some TNA as well. I'll probably keep it between WWE for the most part, but I do want to give TNA and AEW some love as well, because I'm really enjoying them both at the moment. So I'm not just a WWE guy. I am an AEW guy, TNA guy, everybody else guy. So I watch way too much. So apart from the guy who came up and spat his dummy out, thank you very much for watching. Diggs BTW, thank you very much for saying hello. Let us know if there's anything else you want us to fantasy book. If there's anything you disagree, feel free to tell me. I'm not right all the time, just most of the time. So so tell me what you think. And maybe next time I'll have one of the co-hosts. Maybe I'll have Dom and Dan or Andy joining me as well for one of these. I think it'd be fun. And also next time I'll give you a little bit more notice. So some of the usuals like Sassy Misfit, Mark, our moderators, whoever else can join in. But for now, I think we're approaching the 40-minute mark. Thank you for joining me. This was the first Gimme booking. I sign off now, and let's see who we're going to have, who's going to play us out. So, who are we going to have? Oh, yes. We haven't seen her for a while. So...
Tracy Blackheart, and welcome to Gimme A Hull Yeah! I hope everyone checking this out in Yorkshire and beyond is having a great day. All